Not only is the Premier League back, the opening weekend made sure that it was back with a bang. We're going to talk through all the big games, all the big talking points. Mark and I did a preview of the opening weekend last week. Some of the results we got bang on. Others, Chelsea Palace, we were miles off. No dig intended there, Marky Mark. My guy, how are you today?
Shut up, man. Yeah, I'm good apart from that little dig. What is expected coming from an Arsenal supporter, so that's fine. But I am good. It was a very exciting opening day weekend. I mean, not for Chelsea, definitely not for Arsenal either. But there were some teams out there which we need to take notice, and we're going to start that off by talking about Manchester City. What was the score again? 4-0. My God, did they make an opening day statement? The biggest opening day statement. For me, it was a flawless, a super impressive performance. What's your thoughts, Geezer?
Dude, I don't think we can start anywhere else but Man City. I know there are other games that are played beforehand. The champions kicked us off, and we will get to the champions. We will get to Liverpool, guys. Don't worry. Stay tuned for that, because Mark and I have some big opinions. I definitely do on the champions opening game. But we cannot start anywhere else but City for the reason that you stated. City were supreme. Listen, they were going away to Wolves. We said we don't know what kind of City we're going to get. How is Cherky going to fit in? Is Rudolph the reindeer? Is he going to do a great job in the City side now? Rodri is not going to be there. What's going to happen start of the season? Is Haaland going to get fed? Well, wow. He got served and he ate. 2 goals for Erling Haaland, but an absolute man of the match, stellar performance from our boy Reindeers. Oh my days. You know, we were talking about who's going to start the season the most impressive out of the teams. Well, I'll tell you what, the answer is categorically, emphatically Manchester City. And if there was a question around which of the new signings in the Premier League season, of which there are many across all the clubs, which are the ones that are going to make the biggest impact? City gave us the answer, and it wasn't even close. Reindeers and Cherky, wow. Fair.
Can you stop saying reindeers, bro? It's Reijnders. You know, reindeers, bro. You're being disrespectful. I know you're doing that ish on purpose as well, Neil.
Well, I don't know what you mean. You told me the guy's name's Reindeer, so okay. I'll be respectful.
That was off screen, innit? At least say it properly on screen. All right, fine. Reindeers. We'll go
My
with
bad.
reindeers.
I'll take it back. Reindeers. Carry on.
Okay. I mean,
Reijnders. Sorry.
Right.
Carry on. I'm getting confused now. All right, dude. Honestly, what a debut. What a double debut for those guys, right?
I haven't seen a debut like that. I can't remember since when. I cannot remember since when one person who's come to the Premier League, the strongest league in the world by far, and put on a display. I take the game from the scruff of the neck from the beginning to the end and absolutely just run the game. You know, we're hearing about this Dutch Supreme, you know, Reijnders, and he's come to the Premier League. And, you know, you come into a brand new league, Isa, a strong league, and it takes a lot of players time to adapt. But it looks like he's been playing at Manchester City for years. It looks like he has been he is the perfect replacement from the world-class Kevin De Bruyne, who's now off at Napoli. The performance was unreal. I did not know what to expect. From the middle, bro, he absolutely ran the game. I think we have someone in our league who is extremely impressive. I mean, we're going to talk about him and Wirtz, but, you know, there's no doubt we're going to get onto Liverpool, yeah. But that performance was just unbelievable. It's his first game in the Premier League, and it's his first game, a competitive game with Manchester City. It is scary to see what he is going to do. I think he's going to run this league rampant. And if Manchester City win the league, he will be a main cog in that system. He is going to play a huge part. He is that good. I think I would have him easily over Odegaard, easily over Enzo Fernandez. It's without a doubt. So the skill, I mean, let's talk about this. He's only officially had like one assist, right? But well and truly, there's the pre-assist, right? That pre-assist for, I think it was for Rico, bro. And then he crossed it in for Haaland, and Haaland is a sharpshooter. It looks like he's got his shooting boots on. And then the cutback, the actual official assist, bro, he has eyes at the back of his head to know, because it didn't even look like he was looking when he grabbed the ball and drove into the edge of the box. He just knew where Erling Haaland was. And Erling Haaland's positional play was just fantastic, to find a massive space on the pitch like that and to drive it home and be clinical. Yeah, Haaland could have a special season. Go ahead.
No, yeah, Haaland could, with talent like that behind him. And you're right, it's the pre-assist as well as the assist, and obviously the goal as well, right? He's got a pre-assist, an assist, and a goal, and that is one hell of a debut. And everything you said there, I agree with. It's exciting. It's going to be interesting to watch. I did have Man City. Everyone out there, our viewers watching, I did say I have Man City as a team to watch. I didn't know what to expect. Well, if I didn't know what to expect, I think they gave me a bit of an idea as potentially what I should be expecting. And that was some performance. And you mentioned you haven't seen a debut like that in a while. Well, the only other debut, which also was a Man City debut that I can remember on that level, was Aguero. And he come in and he come in with a brace.
That was years ago, bro. That was years ago.
I'm trying to think who else has had a debut like that. Who's burst onto the scene like that, apart from Micah Richards, eh? I don't know. Anthony Martial, it comes to mind. I can't think of anyone else that has had a debut like that outside of Aguero. And that's the only one really that comes to mind. I think Rashford and Martial, they did have some pretty explosive debuts, to be fair, but they scored a goal each.
That's right.
But
it wasn't dominating, though.
Well, Martial's goal was in a loss, wasn't? No, I think United won that game, didn't they? Yeah, United. No, I can't remember. Anyway, it was 3-1. It was 3-1 one way or the other. Either way, this performance was fantastic. And again,
absolutely.
I know, you're going away to Wolves, and we have to talk a bit about Wolves, and I think Wolves could be in trouble this year. Having said that, it's still not an easy game to just go away, first game of the season, and put on a performance like that in any away game, whether you're going away to the champions first game, or if you're, like Bournemouth, or, you're going away to Wolves, as Man City did. It's not easy to put in an away performance like that. You know what, Mark? You put in one or two of those away performances a season like that across, and you're like, yeah, that was quality. These guys have done it first game of the season. Now, I'll tell you what, they've laid down a marker. They've laid down a marker, Mark. So if anyone was on the fence, Micah Richards came out and said, when I saw them play, he changed his predictions just based on that one game. There'll be people out there that are doing that. I'm not changing my predictions. I'm going to do that as well.
I am, bro. I am, because like the number one was who I said was Liverpool. Yeah, well, like the majority of the population out there are football fans, are pundits. Yeah, everyone's give them the league, especially if they have get Isak and stuff. But there's so many plot holes. There's so many holes in their defense. There's still so many questions for me about Mo Salah. He's older now, and last season, bro. Yes, they won it early. That means he could take, the foot off his gas. But Mo Salah is still a professional. He still gives 110% every single game. And by saying that, his last bunch of games at the end of last season weren't spectacular, bro. He actually didn't have that much of and we're going to have to see how Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk perform this season, because they're both 1 year older. Right, they both have to plateau some point, and I do believe it will be this season, and that's why we're going back to Man City. I think Man City look absolutely strong, bro. They look like they. I think that Pep has gone and has told them, hey, we're not fucking around. Yeah, this season I'm not going to be embarrassed like that again. You lot are going to get your shit together, and you're going to play, and you're going to play my way, and you're going to give everything. And I think that is the way to go with that team, because they got the talent. They just need the motivation. I think Pep is going to give that to them this season.
Fair. It's Pep. It's Pep. It's so
It's
difficult to
Pep.
go against Pep, right?
It's
So
Pep. It's
there's
Pep.
nothing
I'm
wrong with
changing.
people changing their mind. And maybe others had Man City winning it anyway. I just think,
Fair.
look, first game of the season, I'm trying to hold. I want to see what's going to happen. But I do think it's going to be one hell of an exciting season. I also think it's going to be arguably game week to game week, one of the most difficult seasons to predict what's going to happen from a week by week perspective. And that ultimately will make it so difficult to predict who's going to win the title. But I hope I'm right. I hope it's the most exciting season yet. But
let me add to that. Yeah, one small thing. Don't forget. Yeah, who accumulated the most amount of points in the second half of the season last season?
Exactly. We did it. Neely's numbers.
Man City,
baby.
You did the numbers, bro. And I'm bringing it back because that is an important metric here. They had the best points tally in the second half of the season. So it'll be mad for anyone. And in fact, you and I should have taken that in consideration before when we did our predictions. We should have taken that into consideration. Because if they carry on that form, bro, there's a chance they could run away with it. There is a chance.
I know. They've done it before.
They've done it. I won't bet money on it because the other teams around them, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, the Chelsea, who have all improved. You know, especially Arsenal got their missing piece. Chelsea have revamped and massively improved. Liverpool got Wirtz, geezer. We're going to touch on him, not like that.
Before we touch up with Wirtz, I'll tell you what, we did take it into account. And then obviously, but then you've also got to take into account Rodri got injured again, didn't he? So that's why we were umming and ahhing, Mark. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we both were like, you know what? And at that point, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to put City favourites. And I think you did something similar, but then it was like, well, actually, Liverpool took their foot off the gas in the end. It's so difficult to predict. But like I said, 2016, 2017 season, everyone was sleeping on City's back end because Chelsea were flying. Conte was doing Conte things, and it was all about Chelsea, and rightly so. Chelsea was stellar in 2017, but what Pep was doing quietly was building up that momentum second half of that season, and then, like you just said, walked the title next season. Let's see if that happens this year. We will know. Now, you mentioned Liverpool already. We're going to go on to Liverpool now, Mark. The champions kicked off the Premier League 2025-2026 season, and boy, did they kick it off in style. What a great game to start the season off with a bang. Let's talk about it, right? The end result, 4-2, sounds comfortable, but I'm telling you, viewers, those of you that didn't see it, I mean, what were you doing if you didn't watch it? But if you didn't get a chance to watch it, that only tells half the story, because that game was mad. Liverpool shot into a 2-0 lead, and that's when it got turned on its head. Up steps Semenyo, hold my beer time. First goal, bang. Second goal, wow. Through, and this is the defensive frailties you're talking about. Let me kick it over to you. He levels it up, and geez, for all the quality we saw there from Semenyo, did we just glimpse into a real Liverpool weakness that's going to get exploited this season, or was it just a one-off?
You cannot allow a player that Semenyo is a fantastic winger. Actually, he should be moving sooner or later to a bigger club. I think he is that good. But regardless, you can't allow him or a player to drive from the beginning of their box all the way straight, bro, down the middle. Konate looked all over the place. He was twisting and turning himself. I don't even think that Semenyo meant to do that. This guy was just standing back. Where do I go? Where do I go? And then on my face, on the back of my head, like, bro, you're supposed to be Konate. Konate is a fantastic defender, but these things they need to fix. It's the first game of the season, but then, even in the Community Shield, they got spread open, like you say, like Katie Price's leggings on her prime. Do you get me? It's not clear-cut they're going to win the league. Even if they get Isak, there's still some holes in there. Right?
There's some big holes, Mark.
big hole skeezer. The defense, even the forwards. It's going to also take a little bit of time for Wirtz to kick into gear, because he didn't really have that much of an impactful game. I know we have a Liverpool boy in our group, in there, and he couldn't wait to at the end of the weekend to say, "Oh my God, you know what? Wirtz had a much better performance than Gyökeres." I mean, shut up, bruv. Like, that may be so. It's the first game of the season, and you're gonna have to give both of these players a little bit of time to adapt to not just their team but to the Premier League, right? So I think that's a little bit silly when he's saying that. You know, obviously it's our mate just trying to have a little dig at us, and that's fair. But Wirtz, bro, go.
I was just going to say, before you go into Wirtz, for context, guys, we're talking about obviously a friend of ours who's a Liverpool fan, and he is known for making some outlandish statements. So I'm going to give him his moment of glory here. This is the same guy that said Minamino was on the same level as Aubameyang, and didn't he say and Diego Costa or something silly like that? Just, we've got to take it into context. Shout out to our boy. He'll be rewinding this bit and watching it over and over again, no doubt.
We're not going to do him over. We're not going to do him over by mentioning his name, innit? That's a bit out of order, isn't it? He's not if he can handle that either.
We all make mad statements, man. I've made some mental statements in the past, so we all do it. And fair play to him, and he is Liverpool through and through, so I get it. Before you go into Wirtz, you mentioned Konate first.
Yeah,
Mark,
I did.
Is his head already at the Bernabeu?
Or Chelsea?
Well, I think it's probably in the Bernabeu, isn't it, rather than Stamford Bridge? What are you telling me? Are you breaking news to me that that Chelsea realistically can get him next season?
There are one or two rumors. I don't know how solid they are. Okay, that's my my what do you call that? The terms and conditions that I'll say on there. But there are some rumors that Chelsea were looking to get in Konate. Of course, you know, if Bernabeu, the Real Madrid are looking at you, I mean, that is just a once in a life opportunity. And you know what? He's good enough to play for them. I'm not saying, it's been a couple of games he's been open. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's not fit. Maybe he's been drinking too much on his holidays, and he's come back and he was all over the place in that opening game on Friday. He was actually all over the place. So I don't know. I think that I don't think his head is turned. I don't think right now he's not Trent. And even if you are Trent, Trent still put in 100%. That's what I will give to Trent. And I think that Konate is the same. I think he's going to give his all to Liverpool whilst he's wearing the Liverpool shirts.
So what the hell was that then? Mark? Because I tell you what, forget Konate, that performance was worse than Jonathan Woodgate's performance first game at Real Madrid, because that was so bad, mate. That was so bad. That was so bad. Yeah, honestly, I'd make a case for Konate as being worse. That was absolutely mental. I don't know what he was doing. He was playing man's onside when he should have stepped up. He was playing people, trying to play people offside when he should have stayed back. And in general, he looked drunk. He looked pissed.
He looked drunk. He looked pissed.
Captain Morgan's and Coke did you have the night before, fella? Because I tell you what, that was a shocker. Absolute shocker. And Bournemouth, if they'd escaped with a draw from Anfield there, Anfield, you don't go 2-0 behind and come back at 2-2 into the game. You don't do it. It doesn't happen, especially if you're a team like Bournemouth, who are a very good team, don't get me wrong. But once Anfield get on top of you, and once Liverpool get on top of you, they're 2-0 up, you ain't in the game. And suddenly, 85 minutes gone, it's 2-2. They had to get bailed out. Unbelievable. I don't know if Konate's head's not been... it's not gone, then I don't know what that was, because Konate, you need to fix yourself, dude.
It's the first game of the season.
Was
yeah,
it
was terrible.
I don't care. It was shocking. Shocking.
It was shocking. Look, that's what I'm saying, isn't it? Like, that's why Man City just look like the most complete team with the least amount of any problems or worries, and they just need to maintain motivation. But with Liverpool, there's some holes. We've already described it. Let's talk about some positives. Hugo Ekitike. He looks like a good player, and he's only going to, he's going to, and it's going to be a shame for him right, if Isak comes, because Jamie Carragher said it himself. You're going to halt the progress and the development of Hugo Ekitike if Isak comes in. And people are saying, we got our boy on the Liverpool team, on our Liverpool chat, the same one we're talking about. Yeah, you just play Hugo Ekitike on the left. He ain't freaking Thierry Henry, mate, right? He wants to play up front. And that was when he signed and they spent 80 million on him, he was sold that he was going to be the main number 9 and he's going to play up front. If Isak comes, he's going to absolutely disrupt that. And that would be a shame because I think that Hugo Ekitike has a huge amount of potential. He can be an actual lethal weapon for Liverpool, but only if they give him the chances, only if they give him the game time. But he is one to watch. And it looks like is £80 million. Is it well worth spent? Possibly. Very possibly.
Yeah. Let me throw some bits into the mix there. Hugo Ekitike absolutely agreed on that. He's just started like a train and he looks electric. He looks very, very good. He got his goal, a couple of ricochets that landed well as well. But his finish, he was just so calm. This kid has come over and he's playing his first game of the season, which is at home at Anfield in front of the Kop. And he is honestly just the coolest man in the stadium at that point. So props to him. Now, you mentioned Isak. Firstly, there's a few moving parts here. Firstly, Newcastle can still go. You ain't going anywhere this season. You got 3 years left on your contract. We will sell you next year once we've replaced you. Second option, they do sell to Liverpool if they up their value and he comes over to Liverpool. How much does that affect Ekitike? Well, here's the thing. Liverpool are a great team. Now, whether I like to admit it or not, they are a great team. They're one of the best teams in the world. And for me to say that, and with this new Champions League format, which means there's more games you play in the season than before, if they go deep into the Champions League and they've got the Premier League, Isak isn't going to last the distance. Why? Because historically, the guy is injury prone. He just doesn't do it, which means Ekitike is still going to get games. Even if Liverpool get Isak this season, the guy is still going to play an integral part. And it seems like the type of guy that actually doesn't need to play 10, 11 games to get into a groove. He seems like the type of kid that can actually just get going, just whack him on the pitch and just get going. He's got it's very early to say, but Cole Palmer's very much like that, right? Do you know what I mean? Just give him the ball and he can do something with it. And Ekitike, I'm not saying he's Cole Palmer. What I am saying though, is that he's come in and gone, you know what? It feels like he's been there for years. We never saw Darwin Núñez do anything like what Ekitike has done in the Community Shield and game 1 of the season with aplomb. We never saw Núñez doing that in 2 seasons or 3 seasons that he was at Liverpool. I think he's going to get a lot of game time with or without Isak.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's a fair point. Let's crack on and let's talk about the most expensive signing in the Premier League history, Florian Wirtz. Now, it's the first game of the season. He didn't really do much. He had some little slick passing, slick movements. He's the type of player that no matter how many players crowd him, he just seems like he has the ability just to get out of it. I mean, it's a special skill. He's a special player. You mentioned that he's a generational talent in previous pods, and I would like to elaborate on that a little bit. I think he's a generational talent, yes, especially for the German team. But there are other generational talents who I think are better than him. And I for example, you think I'm going to sound crazy? Phil Foden, right? Had a terrible season. Okay, terrible season last season. But in terms of born, technically, he is born a footballer. Technically, he is just a wonderful, skillful, a blessed footballer. I think he is better than Florian Wirtz. I also think Cole Palmer is a better generational talent than Florian Wirtz. And I think he'd have a much more of an impact over the course of not just this season, next season, overall more than Wirtz. I've said I'm sure there's going to be Liverpool fans out there that are going to defend their guy and say that I'm talking absolute smack. I mean, that's the beauty of football. We all have our own opinions. But what I just said there, what do you think about what I just said?
Mark, you're speaking like you're thinking you're giving an absolutely wild take, and I'm going to be reacting like, what did he just say?
You never know.
And I agree with everything you just said. Now, for context, we've spoken about Florian Wirtz as a generational talent. I want to make it clear to everyone watching. When I say Florian Wirtz is a generational talent, I mean Liverpool have picked up the German generational talent. Yeah. That is very different because Phil Foden, you're absolutely right. Listen, he terrible season last season. Is he a baller? Yes. Is Cole Palmer a baller? Yes.
Yes.
Would I rather have a prime Phil Foden, so that's Phil Foden of 2 years ago, or a prime Cole Palmer, even though Cole Palmer's so raw and young, over Florian Wirtz in the Premier League at Arsenal? You bet your bottom dollar I would.
Wow.
Give me Cole Palmer. Give me prime Phil Foden over Florian Wirtz. Now that I know Liverpool fans will take as a dig to Florian Wirtz. It is not meant to be.
Say.
I want to hear it as well. Give me the abuse.
Do they
Give
agree
it to
with
me.
us?
I will respond to you directly, I promise you, because I actually want to have a conversation about this. Because when you have a generational German talent, that's very different to saying generational talent full stop. We will know if he can live with prime Phil Foden, because what I saw Phil Foden do a couple of seasons ago was unreal. And if you're telling me, even though Cole Palmer's only had 2 seasons, if you're telling me I can have Cole Palmer tomorrow, Mark, or Florian Wirtz tomorrow, I'm taking Cole Palmer all day long. And I'm a gooner. Yeah. I got no dog in the fight. I don't like Chelsea. I don't like Liverpool. So spade a spade. Now, I want to talk about Florian Wirtz's debut because it is the first game of the season. And I'm not going to judge someone on the first game of the season. Equally, we do have to see what the debut was like, because we just said Reijnders had a great debut, pre-assist, assist, goal, one of the best debuts we've ever seen. Well, in comparison, 0 goals, 0 assists, as we know. I'm not a massive fan of XG and XA in terms of expected goals and expected assists, but they're basically minimal to none. He had a shot, which I don't think was, he sort of scuffed it, if you remember, and it kind of crept past the post, and it looked better than actually what it was. In terms of chances created, didn't do too much. The key one, Mark, I want to speak to you about is possession lost. Do you know how many times Florian Wirtz lost possession against Bournemouth at home on Friday?
I don't know. Educate.
19. He lost possession of the football at his feet 19 times. He made 2 tackles in the whole game, 2, and he lost 6 out of his 8 duels. Now,
damn.
Again, I am not saying he is not going to, I'm on record as saying Liverpool have picked up the outstanding German generational talent in Florian Wirtz. I think he's going to do electric things this season. But if I'm going to give credit to him, I have to criticize an equal measure on what I see. And if you compare it to Reijnders and even Cherky in terms of new signings debuts, and even if you go, I know Mbeumo and Cunha were both in the Premier League beforehand, they still made a debut for Man United. You have to look at Wirtz's debut, and we're going to talk about we talk about Gyökeres's debut, and he didn't do much, he didn't do anything, wasn't fed, whatever else, 3 touches, no shot. Hey, Wirtz is not immune to getting looked at from a statistic standpoint and the eye test. The eye test told me he had a terrible debut. I'm going to give it to you now because I know you also have some thoughts in terms of the eye test of what you saw. I've given you some data there with Neely's numbers to build an even fuller picture. It was a poor debut. Call it what it was. It was a poor debut.
It was a poor debut. I don't know if it was a poor day. It was just, I'll look at it as it was just nothing spectacular. It was an average debut for a person who has broken the Premier League transfer record, who has come to the Premier League with such a huge expectation. And I haven't seen Wirtz play so much in the Bundesliga, but I've seen him play at international tournaments, and I have been massively turned on with him. And I'm like, wow, he is going to be wicked. And I still stand by that.
He's top draw.
I still stand by. He is top draw, and he is a massive talent. And you know what? They have a gem. Liverpool have a gem. I think everyone needs to be a bit patient. But what we are analysing and criticising, critiquing, is his debut performance, which was nothing special, especially when you compare it to Jerdy and Reijnders and the XYZ and Bournemouth, all this sort of people. It's the first game of the season. Yeah, I still have massive hopes and massive expectations for him to be, the word is, a game changer. Yeah, to take Liverpool to another. He will be. When? When is the question? When will he get to grips with Liverpool, with Arne Slot, with the Premier League? Like he's a kind of small, diminutive type of player. You know, there's even a chance that he may not be able to make it at Liverpool. And you know what? Nothing would make me happier to see them splash 115 million on this whiz kid. And I don't want to say ruin him. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see players be ruined, yeah? But ruined him. Do you understand that? There's a small chance that could happen, that he may not be able to hack it in the Premier League. And everyone can say to me, oh, you know what? He has too much class. He has too much talent to do that. And whilst that may be the case, there is a small percentage that he may struggle. And the pressure, the price tag, bro, it could be another Anthony Martial. It could be another Rasmus Højlund. He could have so much, all the hopes pinned on him. He doesn't deliver. The pressure's going to hit him. And how he's going to handle that pressure.
Yep. We could be wrong about Wirtz, right? There is a chance. You'll make a great point. We both rate him. And I saw a bit of him at Dortmund, especially, and I had a bit of an eye on Dortmund anyway that season when they beat
It's not Dortmund though, is it?
It's not Dortmund. Not Dortmund. Leverkusen. When Leverkusen won the title against Bayern Munich 2 seasons ago. And
instrumental.
I watched quite a bit. Yeah, he was instrumental and he was quality. The Bundesliga isn't slow. Having said all of that, we could be wrong about Wirtz. And debut or not, is it acceptable, Mark, to lose possession 19 times? Giza. Yeah. That is a massive number. Debut or not, you lost possession 19 times at home to Bournemouth. And I'm not criticising Bournemouth. Decent team, but come on.
Yeah.
Right. We have to move on. But one thing that Liverpool did show, please let us know in the comments what you think. Maybe you think me and Mark are being too harsh. Maybe you think we're talking rubbish. Maybe Liverpool fans are triggered. If so, please drop us a comment. We want to hear from you. Right. We have to move on. Before I do move on, shout out to Salah. Tribute to Diego Jota. He was emotionally stirred. Obviously, I don't want to focus too much on the Jota piece. I rate him for doing that. I want to focus on the fact that he scored his goal. He's now scored 10 goals in opening Premier League fixtures, which is insane. And he got his goal right at the end. But the real winner, the real match winner, because this game was heading for a draw until this guy miskicked the ball into the corner of the net and celebrated like he'd won the World Cup. Enrico Chiesa showed up and got the goal that took it to 3-2 and spared, let's face it, spared Liverpool's blushes. Because when it was 2-2 in 85 minutes, this could have been a massive faux pas, 2-0 up, and then it could have dropped points. Chiesa made sure it didn't happen. Salah put the icing on the cake. Liverpool scored four different goal scorers. They got goals. They'll be there or thereabouts, surely, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, it is very impressive. Firstly, we'll talk about Mo Salah. It is impressive that he scored 10 goals consecutively in the opening day of the season. But as we have mentioned in previous pods, he's played about 15 finals and hasn't scored about 1 or 2 and has had zero impact. I think that's a little bit more important than the opening day of the season, right? Well done to him. You did great on the opening day of the season, but can you do it in the big games? You know, past history says no. It's freaking true. It's freaking true.
Mark is laying down the gauntlet, Liverpool fans.
There's no gauntlet. No, I'm laying down facts, stats. Stats that you research and that I remember, because I can't believe that you actually saying that. It's stats. But well done. There's a lot to be said about Mo Salah. Let's see how this pans out, how well he does this season. My prediction is not going to be as effective as before. And then what was the second thing that we were talking about that you mentioned?
Chiesa, your boy.
Bro, you know what? Chiesa is my guy. Yeah, because I seen this guy, not play in Italy, but play for the Italian national team. And in the tournaments, like when they purchased him for like, what is it, 12 million, 13 million, I was like, why is he so cheap? Like, I've seen this kid. He's a baller. He can play football. He's an impact player. He's a game changer. He was a game changer for the Italian national team in the tournaments. But he's come to Liverpool and they have not given him a chance. I don't know why. What reason being? Is he unfit? Can he not handle the Premier League and this and that? So me seeing him yesterday come on and score, and he was so happy. Honestly, I was so relieved for him. I was happy for it. Yeah, I wasn't happy that Liverpool scored and blah, 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 but I was happy for him because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, why they're not giving him game time last season. Maybe he wasn't good enough. There's a lot of better players in front of him, but Chiesa was so good for Italy. I don't know why they didn't give him his chance. What do you think about what I just said?
I said it there. He was so good for Italy. It's different, isn't it? It is very different. One thing I will say, and I want to apologise to Liverpool fans. Well, I don't really want to apologise to Liverpool fans, sorry. But Enrico, I've been calling him Enrico Chiesa. Is it Federico Chiesa? Because I remember his dad. His dad was Enrico Chiesa, right? His dad was a baller, Mark. I remember watching Serie A on Channel 4, Football Italia, growing up as a kid, when you only had 4 channels or 5 channels on TV.
That's right.
And Chiesa, his dad, was an absolute baller. I must say, I don't know how much of a baller his son is, but I think you touched upon it. He's done it in Italy. It's very different to doing it in not just doing it in the Premier League, doing it at one of the biggest teams, one of the biggest and best teams in the Premier League. And it's tough. It's tough to break into that front line. You got Cody Gakpo, you got Luis Diaz they had last season. You had Darwin Núñez, Plonka. And then you had obviously Mo Salah and a few others. Liverpool have great forwards, have always had great forwards. Tough for him to get in, but you know what? He made the most of it on Friday night, didn't he?
Yeah, give him a bit more chance, man. Like, give him a bit of a shot. Give him a couple of run over games. He doesn't have to start every game, but he has quality as a footballer. I mean, he can turn it on. I think that maybe needs to give him a chance. But as you say, you got Cody Gakpo, you got Ekitike, possibly Isak, and this and that, and of course Mo Salah. Give him a shot, innit? And at least give him a shot in like the cups. Build up his confidence. You might have, in the way, like a brand new signing, bro. They may have they can look at him like a brand new signing, but give him the chance. If not, get rid of him. You're just paying his wages. It makes no sense, isn't it? If you're not going to give him a shot, you're not even going to play him in the cup. So make him leave, man. Don't ruin his career. You guys seem to be doing that, ruining people's players' careers. It's just the Liverpool way, isn't it?
Fair. Liverpool fans, do you want to see more of Chiesa, or do you think he's just not quite good enough to get in your 11? Let us know. Me and Mark will respond to you direct. Now, Mark, before we wrap up, we need to quickly touch upon a couple of other bits. West Ham, they look like they're in trouble. My question to you is Graham Potter going to be the first Premier League manager to get sacked this season?
Him or Amorim?
Bold, yeah?
Yeah, because as I said to you, bro, Manchester United don't have the funds to purchase 80 million on Sesko, 71 million on what's his name, Mbeumo, and 51 million on Cunha. Yeah, I don't have the money for that. You put it on tick. You put it on credit card. If they don't perform from the get-go, they don't start accumulating the points. Yeah, I think Amorim is going to go. Like, Manchester United cannot afford that anymore. That's just the way that I see it. Him or Graham Potter, if I had to bet money, it would be Graham Potter, because he is dead. He's a dead manager. And you know what? I can say that. You know why I can say that? Because he managed Chelsea. Yeah? He's going. He's going to go. That's why I said to you in our previous pod, make sure you watch that. Yeah? In the Chelsea review. And we had a little prediction at the end of that video. I said, no matter what, I'll be so disappointed if Chelsea don't come away with the win. Chelsea should wipe the floor with West Ham. And not because West Ham have dead players, it's because they have a dead manager.
I got to agree, man. Honestly, Graham Potter is always flattered to deceive. And I said that even when he was at Brighton, he just timed his runs well. But even that season at Brighton, before you boys got him, He had 2 separate runs of like 8, 9, 10, 11 games where he was like losing, and really dropping a lot of points, not winning any games basically during those 2 massive stints in the course of a season. And he just timed it well. He started the season well and he ended the season well with Brighton, and he had a couple of good key wins in between. Graham Potter is always flattered to deceive. Graham Potter is not a Premier League manager. End of, in my opinion.
I agree.
City looked incredible. They're your favourites. They also battered a team that could potentially get relegated. Are Wolves, are Brentford, are these teams in trouble, or are the same 3 that came up doing the same thing that happened in the last couple of seasons and going straight back down again?
Yeah, I think Wolves will go down. I also think Brentford will go down because they've lost some key players as well. I do think that.
Yes.
Who's the other team? Sunderland. I think they're going to stay up. I have a feeling that Sunderland are going to stay up. Are those the 3 teams that have come up? Yeah, Sunderland, Leeds, and what's the first one that I mentioned?
Burnley, yeah. Sunderland, Leeds, Burnley have come up, and
Burnley's managed by Scott Parker.
Yeah, they're definitely in trouble. I mean, he'll be getting sacked by October again. He's. I mean, we talk about Potter not being a Premier League manager. Scotty Parker, please. I think Sunderland. You know what? And I'm going to be sounding a bit biased here. Great signing, getting Xhaka. Absolutely quality signing, getting Granit Xhaka in. That could be a difference maker, because when you're a newly promoted team, you need to have a bit of know-how, you need to have a bit of skill, and that guy can still do a job for them. I really believe he can still do a job in the Premier League at a lesser club, for sure. And that could be the difference, because if Wolves and Brentford and these teams are going to be flirting down there, 3 have got to go down. I've got Burnley going straight back down, and because they are rubbish. Sorry, Burnley fans, if you are watching. They didn't even score goals in the Championship. No, it's not. I'll tell you why it's not harsh. They didn't even score goals. They struggled to score goals in the Championship. How the hell are they going to score them in Premier League? And the only reason they really got promoted up is because they were defensively solid in the Championship. Well, you ain't going to be defensively solid in the Premiership. We've already seen that. Spanked for 3, could have conceded 5 opening weekend. Burnley going straight back down. Leeds, I want to see what they've got. I hope they've got a bit about them. I want to see them stay up. But Leeds, Wolves, Sunderland, Brentford, these are the type of teams that could be flirting down there. West Ham, if you don't get rid of Harry Potter, don't get rid of Graham Potter quickly. Don't get rid of him quickly. You're in trouble. So let us know your thoughts. Mark, I'll kick it over to you to conclude, wrap up, and bring it home.
We said some very controversial things in this pod, guys, but we'd like to hear all your opinions. I mean, that's the beauty of football. It's all subjective and everyone has opinions of it. And if you do like our content, if you can subscribe, because we've checked out the analytics and 50% of you guys have not subscribed yet. So what you're doing, probably check yourself. And if you like the video, then logically you should like the video. It helps us reach more people. And if you want to see more of our content and you enjoy the way that my guy and I banter and talk about football, click this video right here and we'll see you good people in the next one. We appreciate you. Thank you, guys.